Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Stu's Booze Reviews. My name is Stuart, and I will be your guide through this wonderful, and sometimes not so wonderful, world of spirits. A little bit about myself. I've been working in the wine and spirits retail industry for about 7 or 8 years now. The first couple years I was just your average sales clerk. Now I'm actually an assistant manager. I've learned a lot, seen a lot, tried a lot, and I'd like to share those experiences with you guys. That is why I'm starting this tasting channel. I plan on going through pretty much my entire liquor collection, and potentially doing some different topics, such as, I have one planned for bitters, might do one on mixers, or if there's anything you guys would like to see me do, feel free to suggest it. But first, let's start with the metrics of how I'm going to be doing this. We have here what we call a Glencairn glass. Some people also just refer to it as a Scotch tasting glass, or yeah, that's about mostly what people refer to. To do this, I'm going to be using essentially 2-ounce pours. I'm going to just use Mountain Dew as kind of our test one. I don't want to actually drink any alcohol right now because that would defeat the purpose of reviewing it. So I want to do about 1.5 to 2-ounce pour. Where's the 2-ounce mark? There's the 2-ounce mark. And that, of course, just gets poured into the glass. If you don't have a Glencairn glass at home, any really clear glassware would work. Rocks glass, whiskey glass, anything like that. I like the Glencairn because it allows for a little bit better depth of color measurement, which I'm about to get to here in a second. So, once we have our tasting glass set up, first metric we want to look at is visual. What is the color of the whiskey, and is it clear or not? We want to hold it up at about a 45-degree angle. I have this handy dandy skylight above me that allows me to get a nice view of this. Yeah, Mountain Dew, mostly clear, really good yellow color. What more do you want me to say about it? It's Mountain Dew. The second metric we want to look at is smell. What notes are we getting out of our sample, out of our whiskey? Do we smell vanilla? Are we smelling a lot of oak? These are all very good descriptors for how we could potentially see how it's going to taste. We want to hold it up at about, again, a 30-ish degree angle, put your nose slightly into it, and take a smell. Another thing we're looking for is how hot this is going to be. Now, heat in this case, we're referring to how much alcohol content is in here. So this doesn't matter so much with your lower proof whiskeys, those that are around 60 to 70, sometimes 80 proof. You're gonna get a little bit of the alcohol smell. You're not gonna get a lot of it. When you start getting to barrel proof though, that's when you start getting a lot of the smell of it, and that's how you know that you're probably going to want to add water to it. We'll get to that in a little bit on why when we get into the tasting portion. So, get a good whiff. Mountain Dew smells sweet. There's a lot of sugar. Come on. Now, so the third metric that we're going to be looking at, and I have a little bit of note down here so I don't get too distracted. The first one that we're looking at when we take a sip is we're just going to let it roll around on our tongue. All we're looking for is how does it feel in our mouth, or the mouthfeel. So, light carbonation at this point, probably diluted from whatever I had in here from before. And you can definitely get some of the sugar flavor to it. So, at this point, this is where we want to either decide if we're going to take a second sip as it is, or if we're going to add water to it. The reason you would want to add water and dilute it is that the best flavor comes out between 25 to 35% alcohol, so that's usually a little bit less than what the vast majority of your bottled whiskeys are going to come out at. So most of them are at 40. Obviously, at higher proofs, you're looking at anywhere from 50 to 60% alcohol. So you're definitely going to want to cut them. I don't have it sitting over here, but I do have a jug of distilled water that I will be using to cut the alcohol content down a little bit. I want to use distilled water because it's going to impart the least amount of flavor change to any of the whiskeys. If you've tried a bunch of different waters, well water, Say-Do water, bottled water, they all have a little bit of a different flavor. I just want to try and keep it as baseline water as I can get. Um, so after we add our water and we cut it down a little bit, we take our second sip. This is the flavor sip. How does it actually taste? What flavors are you getting out of it? A lot of people will say I get flavors of caramel, flavors of oak, flavors of, sometimes you do get char out of it. All these different kind of other flavor metrics that you may not have experienced the very first time, because the very first time all you could really taste was, the heat of it or whatever else you tasted. Again, everyone's taste is a little bit different, etc., etc. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. And the final metric we're looking at is how is the aftertaste? Is there a certain flavor that lingers on the back of your tongue after you've taken it? Now, some people will just say, "Oh, it just burns at the end of drinking it." That may be true. Sometimes you get a little bit more, oakiness at the end of it. Sometimes it becomes a little tart. Sometimes I've had a couple bottles that do that. They're a little weird, but it is what it is. And then once we do all this, I will give you my rating. Mountain Dew. I like it. I'll also be trying to include the average retail price as well as my rating, so you guys can decide, do you want to buy it? If you see it for a good price, maybe lower than what I've suggested or what I've seen it at, by all means, feel free. Can of Mountain Dew is about 50 cents. I'd buy it again. There's my rating on Mountain Dew. But yeah, this is how I will be conducting all of these bottles. You are more than welcome to try it along with me with either a similar bottle that you have or a bottle of your own. Feel free, the more the merrier. But that's going to be it for this very first episode. In the next episode, we'll be diving into my collection with one of my favorites from a local distillery around here. And if you enjoyed this video, or you're just waiting for me to start drinking stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, hit the bell if you want. I don't know, that's what most people say, right? But until next time, thank you very much. Delicious.